Tim and Nikki Bowden claim that they own a large portion of my land, about a half an acre, because they have exclusive easements. Tim and Nikki Bowden have a long history of encroaching on their neighbors' land and are very sophisticated in knowing how to acquire other neighbors' land without paying for it. For the past 10 years, Tim and Nikki Bowden have encroached on their neighbor, Miss Sexton, 3 times. The first time they parked campers. The second time without obtaining a survey, they built a leach line on Miss Sexton's land. And the third time they started to dig a ditch for a Comcast cable without Miss Sexton's permission. Further, the McKee family claimed that Tim and Nikki Bowden used similar manipulative tricks to cheat them out of a spring. The Bowdens are sophisticated. They now claim they own my land because they acquired an exclusive easement from Mr. Charles McKee 10 years ago and from the previous seller 2 months before he went into escrow with me. However, Mr. McKee stated in a recent declaration that he never intended to give up his right in this land and only gave Tim and Nikki Bowden an exclusive easement to prohibit Miss Sexton from using the same easement. Tim and Nikki Bowden persuaded Mr. McKee, an older and uneducated man, to sign a complicated deed without independent counsel and without recommending he acquire legal assistance. Therefore, Mr. McKee did not even understand what he was signing. I would like to know which attorney was involved in this transaction, because they violated the rules of professional responsibility. Further, Tim and Nikki Bowden talked Mr. Haber into signing a deed for a second exclusive easement 2 months before going into escrow with me that contained the same legal description and wording as the deed that already existed from Mr. McKee. However, Mr. Haber did not disclose his intent to sell me land that I have no any use for, except that I can pay taxes on the land. Attorney Robert Basso represented both the Bowdens and the seller, Mr. Haber, in this transaction. Mr. Haber claims he received no consideration, but who would give away so much land without consideration? My argument is that Mr. McKee did not intend to transfer his right to land through the exclusive easement. And I call on the California Supreme Court to put their foot down on the fraudulent use of the text exclusive in an easement that allows people like Tim and Nikki Bowden to attempt to acquire land through an easement by deceptive practices. So let's look at some video. Roll it. This is easement, what I call 4 and 5. The Bowdens, what they call their driveway. This property is my property up to the parked car that you see up on the front. However, this road was put in the wrong location. So without getting a survey, Tim and Nikki laid down a road and put it in the wrong place. And in fact, that fence, which we'll talk about later, is on the boundary line of my property and the Bowdens, which they just erected after I tried to get an injunction from the court to protect my land. That fence could have a negative impact in my case. All of the property to the right of this road is mine, which I will lose because the Bowdens laid their road in the wrong place. I would essentially no use for that land. So the video is zooming in on the property marker that was part of the $8,000 survey I've incurred. And the Bowden's car, as you can see right there, is actually parked right over the property line marker. Why they have their car parked on a property line marker, I don't know, except if they're trying to possibly move that marker while I'm not living on the property. So I contend that I should be able to use this road as well as the Bowdens, that they have a gate at the end of the road that keeps me from accessing my own property that they need to remove. All of this property, as you can see over here that I'm pointing to, is all my property. So as I drive up the property to the left, all of that is my land 100 feet up. And I would like to be able to use all of my property. Thank you very much, and for the next video, I'm going on to video 5. There's 7 in all. Thank you.